Hello, families, and welcome to our Family Toolkit webinar series. This webinar is called Name It to Tame It. Understanding how the brain works helps you to help your child. It's part of a series of webinars called Building Your At-Home Learning Toolkit. These are short videos designed to help support you and your child during comprehensive distance learning. Please check out our other videos. I'd like to start by introducing myself. My name's Jennifer Witten. I'm the principal of Greenway Elementary School, and I've been a longtime educator in the Beaverton School District. Our learning targets for today are to increase an understanding of how the brain works by using the hand model explained from Dr. Dan Siegel. Our other target is to support your child's growth as an emotional communicator and to think about how emotions influence our learning lives. So let's get started. The first part is this. I'm a parent. I have 2 children, and in the beginning, trying to figure out what they were communicating was nothing short of a guessing game. Are you mad, sad, angry, frustrated, tired? I had to guess. It was really hard. They grew up, they acquired more vocabulary, they were able to communicate quite better, but still often it was a struggle to figure out what is it that you need. So I have been using the strategies that I'll explain to you for the past couple of years. I'm pretty confident that they do work, and we've been using them in our family the past couple of years, but especially the past several months. So the first thing we're going to do is to look at a video by Dr. Dan Siegel. He's going to explain how this model of the brain works.
One of the most rewarding experiences for me has been to study brain science and apply it to the experience of parenting. And the hand model of the brain that I use to teach parents is very useful to understand that. So if you take your thumb and put it in the middle of your palm, put your fingers over the top, this is a very useful model of the brain. And when we can actually see in front of us what's going on in the brain, then we can change what the brain does. So let me walk you through very basically what happens in this brain and the structures in it. And it goes like this. The spinal cord comes up, representing the wrist, and then you have coming up into the skull, the brain stem and the limbic area, which work together to help regulate arousal and your emotions and the way you have a fight, flight, freeze response. These are below the cortex, the limbic and brainstem areas, and the cortex is this higher part of the brain that allows us to perceive the outside world, to think and reason. And this frontmost part of the brain, right behind your forehead, so the person's oriented like this, is actually the part that regulates the subcortical, limbic, and brainstem areas. This regulation is very important because sometimes we can have all sorts of things happen in our life. We're tired, we're exhausted, someone pushes a particular emotional button, and we can flip our lids. So rather than being tuned in and connected and balanced and flexible, we can lose all of that flexibility, even lose moral reasoning, and act in ways that are terrifying to others, including our children. Now, you can actually bring yourself back online and come back to the high road and make a repair with your child, and that's important to explain to them. And you can also use this hand model of the brain to explain to children, even as young as 5 and 6, how to understand when their emotions are rising up from the brainstem and limbic areas here, and how it's overriding the prefrontal area and making it so they may be about to flip their lids. So I've had kids come tell me that they're about to go flip their lids and they need a break. They need a timeout. And by even just naming that, they can tame it. And that's the power of using the hand model for ourselves and our children to help us all make sense of what goes on in the emotional communication that we have in the course of day-to-day life.
Chances are, if your child's been in this Beaverton School District for a while, they may be accustomed to the hand model. We have taught it at a variety of schools, and I have found it to be really helpful when talking to children about when their brains are becoming activated. So the next part is to think about some strategies and tips for you as parents. The first strategy Dr. Siegel talks about is naming it to tame it. So you are thinking about um, helping your child think about, oh, it's math time. I'm feeling a little anxious, but they may not be able to say that. So, or thinking about I'm frustrated or I'm irritated or I'm annoyed or I'm really content and happy. So just by naming it, your brain then actually begins to access this thinking part of your brain and then able to stay in a better state. The other thing that you want to do is you want to model it. You want to show your children how you name your emotions. I do this all the time. I'm content right now. I'm joyful right now. I'm irritated. And then I can talk through what my response is. Parents, start modeling it. It's really helpful, and you're going to find it will help you at work as well. It really has shown for me to be very effective. The third strategy is to be an emotional scientist, not a judge. So, emotional scientists, think about what scientists do. They're curious. You want to be curious about the emotions. I wonder why that's happening. It seems to happen a lot. I wonder what we could do about it, rather than judging the emotion. There are no good or bad emotions, they just happen. They come and go. We want to be a scientist about them. What else do scientists do? They look for patterns. It seems like right before writing time, I notice that you're getting nervous or you're worried. I wonder what we can do before writing time so that you're thinking about how you might be regulated and ready for writing. So be a scientist, not a judge. Um, Lastly, timing is everything. This is my daughter, Megan. There was a long time when I used to try and reason and work with her when she was in this emotional state. It doesn't work. It's really difficult. What I do now instead is I give myself a break. We take a time out. I might move to another room. I might offer water. Later, when she's in a calmer state, that's when we begin to unpack some of the emotional responses that she has. The tool here on the screen here is called a mood meter. The mood meter was developed by Dr. Mark Brackett at the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence. It's a way to think about your mood and also your energy level. So if you're interested in using this app, you can look up Mood Meter and you can go back and watch this video as well. And this explains how the Mood Meter works. There's also a Mood Meter app if you wanted to use that, but really a lot of times it's just building that vocabulary with your child. Look at the words on here and think about increasing their vocabulary by naming more words. Lastly, the reason why we really want to think about this is because our emotions influence and affect so many parts of our lives, especially our learning lives. So when you think about emotions, they affect our attention. If we're distracted or confused or worried, we're not able to be our full attentive self. We may be frustrated or angry, and so we don't make the best decision. Not being able to communicate some of our emotions may also affect our relationship quality or our mental and physical health. What we need to really consider is that emotions matter, and having that mindset that emotions matter and tending to them and being aware of them helps us to be our best selves. Some of the resources that I've included here that you can also click on, I have here Dr. Mark Brackett, who is the head, as I said, of the Emotional Intelligence Center at Yale, was on a webinar with Brene Brown, a podcast. It's linked here. This podcast explains the book that he's just recently written called Permission to Feel. I listened to this book. I got it from the library. There's about a 10-week hold on it right now, but it really goes further into depth on thinking about beginning to have an emotions matter mindset. In addition, there's some strategies over here on teaching self-regulation with your child, just some tips for that. And lastly, I just want to thank you, parents. We are heading into a very unknown territory with comprehensive distance learning. But I do know this. I know that using these strategies has really been helpful to my family. I know that I've seen my own children able to communicate more and regulate more and become more independent with their ability to make better choices, pay attention, and be successful. I also want to encourage you that as we begin to navigate this time, reach out to your teachers and administrators in Beaverton. We are here for you, and together we've got this. So thank you so much.